The discussion will be the first item of business agenda. Do I have a motion for approval, please?
Well,
So,
so moved, but I have something on both pieces of the consent agenda to talk about.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Before we vote, we'll talk about it.
Okay,
How's that?
is that
Close
okay?
enough to Robert's rules, right? Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, discussion. Trustee
Okay,
Jamerson,
so
please.
on page 2 of the minutes, under the Deerfield Parents Network, Trustee Clayton's comments were very clear. Unfortunately, the comment that I made did not show up at all. Well, part of it did, part of it didn't. I think it's important. I did go back and look at the tape, which is a whole nother discussion that I won't talk about tonight. That I said next year there will be pushback from us if the donations
Oh,
from the villages stay the same as they were this year. And I think it's important to get that in the minutes. So it's
Okay.
basically exactly what I said. So
so
because
this
trustee,
might be not totally correct, but if the change is agreeable to the board, the minutes as amended, oh, we'd have to have a motion on amendment. This sucks.
sorry.
Okay, so why don't we pull the amendment? We'll pull the minutes from the consent agenda.
Yes,
Okay, we're going to pull the minutes from the consent agenda. So right now, the consent agenda then is the approval of the bills.
so I have an issue on one of the bills, and it's not an issue of the bill, it's an issue of why are we,
This is falling apart.
well,
Okay, go ahead.
I don't think we should have the consent agenda tonight, that's all. My concern is for the organic gardener bill, which is for the community garden, which is over $3,000.
Mhm.
And I'm not questioning the bill itself, but I'm questioning why the village is paying $3,000 to maintain the community garden when the people who have spaces only pay $25 or $50 a year.
It's 60 this year, but it doesn't.
Okay, well, it's 60 and there's
Point-
12
the Point is
spaces.
still the same.
There's 12 spaces, so that's, right?
Point
12
is the same, yes.
So that's my point. I don't know if we need to talk about that. I mean, I don't have a problem with the bill itself. I just have a problem with why we're paying for it out of
Under
village
board
funds.
comments,
Can I move it there?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Under board comments.
Then
that
I don't
would be
have
a
any
good place to
problem with
put
the
it.
bills.
Okay, okay.
How's that? So what do you want to do with my comment
I
about the
don't
minutes?
know.
Have we said,
Council, please.
we said that we've removed the minutes from the consent agenda. Can we leave the bills on the consent?
Yes.
agenda at this point?
Yeah,
So you're looking for, you had a motion, a second to approve the consent agenda, but without the minutes.
without the
Correct.
minutes.
Now you can do a roll
Is
call on
everybody
that.
okay. But it's basically approval of the bills
Correct.
is what we're really talking about. So roll call. Oh, sorry. Did you have something? Okay, roll call.
Trustee Clayton?
Aye.
Trustee Jamerson?
Aye.
Trustee Raff?
Aye.
Trustee Smith?
Aye.
Motion carries.
You can take.
Okay, now we'll take up the minutes of the Board of Trustees, regular meeting, February 17th.
Do you want me to make a motion first so we can talk about it?
Yes,
I move that we approve the minutes from February 17th. Someone needs a second.
could he say as amended
Well,
right
you
now?
could say
Well, no,
with
I-
an addition of a sentence.
with the addition of the sentence at the end of the page 2 under the donation to the Deerfield Parent Network that says that Trustee Jamerson commented that next year there will be pushback if the donations from the villages stay the same as they are this year. I have it here on a piece of paper if you want it.
Okay.
Clerk, more.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. The minutes as amended have been approved.
Sorry.
Wow. Okay, no, it's a learning experience. Next item of business is the Finance Director's report. Director Vasquez, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few items for tonight's report. I sent a memo to the board along with the list of invoices that were up for approval tonight. This is meant to provide some additional context and items that seem notable to me. I plan to make it part of my normal routine, and I hope you all find it helpful when you're reviewing the packet. Right now, I'm finalizing the numbers to use for the appropriations/budget ordinance that will be presented at the next board meeting in March. I will try to send it out early since it is a lengthy document. The numbers will be based on what was discussed at the finance workshop in December, although a few adjustments have been made now that I know what the year-end expenses and revenues were. The appropriated amounts are what the village is authorized to expend in the fiscal year, but we do manage to the budgeted numbers. The finance department continues to work on audit preparation before our field work begins at the end of March. This week, I was made aware of a short window of time to submit a request for some federal grant money that may be available. I will be working to make a submission before the end of the week. We also received notice from our accounting software company, BS&A, that beginning in 2027, third-party payment providers will no longer cover the costs of maintenance towards real-time integrations with their software. As a result, a quarterly API fee will be billed to customers that use third-party payment providers, which we fall into. That fee would not apply to customers that switch to the payment platform that BS&A offers. We had already planned to switch to that payment platform last year before we became shorthanded in the finance department. We will begin looking to the next steps to make that move ahead of the new fees that would impact us in 2027 if we stayed with the current provider. So we'll be looking to make that move. One other item I have is that I did speak with someone from the District 113 Foundation that the board recently approved a donation to. And they did inform me that after speaking with our board, that they have taken steps to reach out to other municipalities. And I think that they have at least 2 on their docket that they will be presenting to shortly. So some progress there. And that's all I have for my report tonight.
Are there any questions or comments? Oh, Trustee Braff, please. Thank you.
Just a quick question. What is the federal grant that has become available?
So it's essentially, they're looking for any shovel-ready projects that we have a number ready to go for that would be happening in the upcoming federal fiscal year. So we don't have a lot on that meet that specific criteria that's ready to turn around so quickly. The one that I plan to submit to them is for the water reservoir work that's being done. I know that we have the IEPA permit in place, so that project is essentially almost ready to go once weather gets good for it.
Are there any other questions for our director? Seeing none, thank you very much. Treasurer's report is not with us. Director of Community Services report. Director Witt, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of items tonight. Soil borings were completed last week at the Thorngate subdivision. We are awaiting the analysis report to come in from Anderson Consulting. And once we have that in hand, we'll be able to report back to the board what those findings are and determine whether or not we have enough information to come to a conclusion or not. Staff also attended a pre-construction meeting last week with Lake County Department of Public Works. The purpose was to do an on-site visit to the Trillium, Chicory, and Thorngate lift stations as we prepare to do repairs. The county's new equipment panels are probably double the size of what they used to be. So we have, I've engaged GHA to prepare some sketches for at least 2 of the sites to determine whether or not placement of the new equipment is going to be able to be installed within the existing easements at each of those sites. At the moment, we don't anticipate any issues, but nonetheless, we just want to make sure that where we do end up placing the equipment is appropriate for each site. Quick Wolters Kluwer update. I got notification from Nordic Spa that they signed a letter of intent with Wolters Kluwer last week. They have an anticipated closing date for the property of December 1st, totally contingent upon board approval of their project. With that in mind, I met with them at length last week to go over their submittal requirements in order to move forward to the Plan Commission. They're working to see what we can do. We have a few questions and some information that we're going to be sharing back and forth. But we anticipate probably within the next 3 weeks or so that we will have an initial submittal for staff review before we can finalize their preparation to the Plan Commission. So that's looking good. And then the last thing on my item is we have a bit of a conundrum here at Village Hall with regard to accessibility. Though the entryways and the doorways to the 2 public restrooms right outside of the boardroom are laid out in compliance with ADA requirements for side clearance and depth clearance for wheelchair access, there is some disparity currently between the men's and the women's restrooms. As you may notice, the women's, though some of us don't, the women's restroom door has a paddle bar, paddle button, and an operator. The men's does not. Evidently, when the building was originally designed, it was apparent that there was intended to be an operator on the men's restroom door because there is some wiring hanging there, and there are some old screw holes which lead me to believe there was an operator. However, there's no electric to the operator on the wall to be able to make that function. The current problem is that the door operator for the women's restroom is not functional. You hit the button and the door opens maybe 2 inches and then shuts. It needs to be repaired. So the question at hand is, do we repair that and leave the men's alone? Or do we go forward and put an operator on the men's door? We got 2 quotes to have the work done, and they range between $10,000 and $11,000 because the operators themselves are several $1,000s a piece in order to make that functional. So the question at hand is, would the board rather just take everything down and still have a code compliant situation, or do we go and move forward and fix the women's restroom door and then also at the same time make the men's room equitable for entryway?
Trustee Jamerson,
That I would
please. Oops, I'm sorry.
like to hear.
Trustee Jamerson, please.
So I can give you more information than you evidently have. When the building was built, none of those doors had operators on them. Before the building was occupied, we did put operators, we bought operators for 4 doors. For whatever reason, and I don't even remember anymore, but one of the operators was not working properly. It is actually sitting on the file cabinet in the storage room. The other 3 operators worked fine. Those operators were originally designed, they can work 2 ways. In a place that has a little bit more traffic than the Riverwoods Village Hall, opening and closing the door itself charges the batteries. Unfortunately, we don't have enough traffic to keep the battery charged, which we found out after the batteries stopped working. So they were electrified to charge the batteries. Those operators are not, I mean, they're like $1,500 a piece, if I remember correctly. They were installed by the carpenter. I'm not sure if you got a number from WB Olson, but they're the ones that put them in the first place. I would suggest that maybe the one for the women's room get repaired. I don't think it makes sense to spend $11,000 to put operators in there. But that's up to the staff to decide. I know that the one that's in the file cabinet room is missing some parts, is what my memory is. And I don't know why it was never followed up on, but I think if we got the right parts, it could be reinstalled on that door, which is why there's holes on the door, because that operator was on that door. So, and everything else is wireless. The push pads are all wireless. There's no reason to run electric to push pads. Even if you were to put an electric operator in, there's no reason to run wire to push pads anymore. Because it's such a short distance, they can all run wirelessly. So that's my 2 cents. I personally think that we should have operators on all those doors. There should be operators so that people can get into that are handicapped can get into those bathrooms and into the building. The reason they weren't originally in the drawings was because technically we didn't need them to meet the accessibility requirements as you just stated. But I know that we have residents that are handicapped who could not open those doors if they didn't have operators on them.
We had an incident of one person actually fell after trying to open that door and hurt themselves. So case in point.
Yeah.
I will be glad to take it back. I can go back to WB, see what can happen there, and I'll take it back to Anderson Lock. They do all of our hardware pieces. I was not aware that we still have that piece somewhere within the
Yeah,
storage room.
it's sitting in a box unless somebody threw it out, which is a possibility.
I didn't.
I didn't look at you.
They are. You know?
No, I think it's still sitting there. And it's the manufacturer's information is on there. It's some company out of Indiana, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So just my 2
So
cents.
I guess the question still is the flavor of the board to upfit these doors to operator status or take them down?
My
And I'll
personal
go either
opinion, my
direction we
opinion
wanna
is
go.
yes. I don't know what the rest of the board feels, but
Trustee Clayton, please.
Just a point, the fact that they're code compliant doesn't make them usable. And it's impossible for someone in a wheelchair to get into the door, get into either washroom. They're too heavy, the doors are too heavy and unreachable from the wheelchair. So in my opinion, we should have everything in the building to the extent possible where there's public access to be accessible.
Accessible, yes. Yes, sir. Is it then, Trustee Smith?
I'm sorry, I have not noticed. Do the front doors have operators? Yes. So it'd be.
To the outside, yes.
Yeah, to the outside.
Yes.
That's what I meant. Excuse
Yes.
me. Yeah, yeah. So it'd be odd to me that we'd have operators for the front doors, but then not allow those people or make it difficult for those people to use the washroom if they have to. So I think we should.
Okay, and Trustee Raff, I see a head nod, so you're in agreement. Is that correct?
An agreement that we should have these accessible.
Okay. thank
Shall we
you for that
review,
direction.
let's review what we've got and then we'll bring the board, we'll
Certainly.
bring that to the board for, is that okay? Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Anything else,
That's all I have.
Director Witt? That's all? Okay. Moving along, attorney's report, please.
The GHA accepted our counter proposal on rates and signed the agreement and got it to us. And we'll be executing it and done with that. HR Green had a few changes for the agreement with Steve Zimmerman. We worked those out. They've signed the agreement and submitted it to us for our execution. So those are both behind us. Verizon, Director Witt did mention that he'd gotten quotes for about $20,000 to $25,000 for tuck pointing and roof repair to the building. And he's going to be in process of trying to meet with AT&T and T-Mobile. And what we'd like them to do is basically the three carriers to come up with a share of that cost. So obviously if the village kicks in a little bit for the fourth unused unit, it's not a lot. And I think that's what we're really waiting on is to kind of figure out how to get them to let us into their units. We don't have a way to get in necessarily. And we don't want to be inside the equipment room without one of their people present, all that stuff. So and then we're waiting on them to get back to us on our lease. So the ball is almost in their court completely. And then the mayor and I are going to be meeting with the village manager in Buffalo Grove to discuss getting water to the Quick Trip facility. Lake County told us that that they, well, it's hard for me to explain it other than to say that our initial suggestion was that the village should deal directly with Buffalo Grove. Turned out to be the right way to go. So we're going to talk to them about doing that. We could, Quick Trip is, and the property owner there is really pressing us to go forward with the zoning hearing, which we could do in the April Plan Commission meeting, even though we don't have an agreement yet with Buffalo Grove and doesn't commit us to anything, but at least would keep the ball rolling. So we probably will try and schedule that since we have the drawings and everything ready.
Are there questions for our attorney? Seeing none. Police report. We have with us this evening Sergeant Kirby. Sergeant, please.
Thank you, Mayor. We just have a couple of things, mostly due to phone calls we've been receiving at the station. In reference to the ongoing military activity that's occurring in Iran, we are currently monitoring information and alerts being disseminated by both of our fusion centers, Illinois, which is the Illinois Statewide Terrorism Intelligence Center in Springfield, and the Chicago Police Department's Crime Prevention Information Center in Chicago, as well as the FBI and Homeland Security. And we just want to let everyone know that at current time, we are not tracking any specific threats in the northeastern Illinois area. However, we are asking all persons within the village to report any suspicious activity to the police department via 911. Some people have been trying to call the station. It's better just to call 911. There also have been multiple burglaries that have been plaguing the Chicagoland area in general, mostly involving gaming establishments, vape stores, and convenience stores. These are during their overnight hours. Because of that, we are taking an aggressive patrol posture in our business areas at nighttime. So you will see us out there. We are also reminding citizens to prevent any collateral theft, property damage and theft activity at nighttime is to please lock your car doors. Don't leave your keys in the car and close your garage doors. Midnight officers have been finding a lot of our residents leaving their garage doors, their cars unlocked with keys in the glove box. So please don't do that. And we are again asking any neighborhood activity at nighttime involving noise or your motion lights coming on to please call us as well for that. And all other police activity has been attached to the minutes handouts.
Are there any questions for our sergeant? Thank you, and thank you very much for your service and all your officers. Thank you. We appreciate you being here. Next, the Plan Commission. There's been no meeting, and our chair is not with us. Zoning Board of Appeals did not meet, it's not with us. Fire District. We have a representative from our Fire District. Please.
Could you come to the microphone?
Yeah, thanks.
If you're going to say anything.
Came for looks.
We'll start over. Hi, everybody. Brandon Rhodes, Fire Marshal here, Lincolnshire Fire Department, Lincolnshire Riverwoods Fire Department. Filling in for Chief Kruger tonight. I just have some call statistics. I think it's been since the end of 2025 since we last met. So 2025 call statistics for us, we ran just over 4,000 calls as a department whole. So 4,011 was our number. 496 of those came in Riverwoods, in the district Riverwoods. So just about 500 calls there for Riverwoods. Our station 52, which is considered our Riverwood station, ran 666 calls total. So they obviously run into our other parts of town if those ambulances are out too. So that's total for 2025. Year to date so far through January and February, we're at 550 calls total, and 78 in Riverwoods. Station 52 has ran 109. So numbers are kind of tracking. Those numbers are on par for the year before too. We were just a couple behind what we did in 2024. So other than that, don't have anything else for you.
Do I have any questions or comments? Thank you. And I know we're working on some communications pieces with you.
Yeah.
So that we can get the word out about what you do and how you can help our residents. So
yeah, for sure. We're trying to get we met last month. We're doing a kind of like a monthly safety tip that started in February. We have a February one out. March one just came out. And then just a recap, almost like a monthly recap. So March, we'll put out a February recap, just kind of, new things that happen in the department, promotions, retirements, that kind of stuff, anything training wise. So we'll just get out a brief summary of the previous month and a safety tip, and we're going to move forward with that. So working on that.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, not a problem.
Thank you for your service as well.
How's that communicated to residents? What you were just describing about the monthly newsletter, the updates, how's that communicated to residents of Riverwoods?
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that we were working on too. So we have our social media pages through the department. We know you guys also have your website, some social media avenues as well too. So we're working on sharing it with you guys for your website so you can disseminate it, like a minutes from the fire department kind of tab. And then also just resharing our stuff too. Yeah, and we're revamping our, community outreach internally through the department as well too. So you should see an uptick of some information and dissemination of stuff too.
Coordinating through the newsletter largely.
Yeah, through the news.
Primarily.
Yeah, exactly. The newsletter.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, was there anything else? I'm sorry if I cut anybody off. Okay. Information items from the president. Just FYI, I've got if you want a copy of the North Shore Mosquito Abatement District Annual Report, I can arrange to get a copy to you. Replaces our South Lake Mosquito Abatement District. Hazardous tree project, we're going to be tying that off. We got a report from our forester on what trees have and have not been taken down. And there will be a process to follow, alerting people, and then if they haven't taken the trees down, other steps. The statement of economic interest will soon be due. You're going to be reminded of that, and you will probably get a direct comment on that. I got a letter today from Capital One. There are more layoffs occurring at Capital One. Discover roughly 500 and some odd people who work on the campus, another 538 who work remotely. So they're cutting, and the police department was made aware of this quite recently, that they're changing their security firm, and we need to coordinate with them about that. So there's still activity going on at Capital One that we should be aware of. I think I'll save this for board comments, but the outdoor lighting issue, we've gone back and forth with the student who came in to ask us to take a look at our lighting ordinance. We can talk about that a little bit later. I think if I didn't, that there should be a handout that's in front of you. There are some topics that we can consider. We can talk about that at our next committee of the whole, unless the board wants to move, quicker than that. But I think we've got some things on our plate right now that we need to be more mindful of. So that's what I had to throw onto the docket this evening. Any questions on any of those things? Okay, moving forward. Visitors wishing to address the board.
Let me start over. Hello, good evening. I'm Laura Millman from the Riverwoods Preservation Council, and I'm just letting you know that our native plant pre-sale website is up on, the native plant pre-sale is up on our website. So please take a look and order some native plants. And our, the plant sale is going to be May 16th, the Saturday. We also have a date now for our Reuse-A-Rama, which is our recycling event, and that's going to be on September 26th, a Saturday also. And that's all I have for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to, Jim? You're good, okay. Or Catherine and Russ, Okay, moving on to new business. Oh, there isn't any. No old business this evening, so moving on to our committee reports. Finance Committee, please. Trustee Clayton.
The Finance Committee met on, February 24th. There's nothing specific that we're coming to the board for action on, but just to give you an idea of some of the things that we're working on. The role of the village treasurer was discussed, banking relationships were discussed, and the process of establishing a monthly meeting of the Finance Committee, which is now going to happen monthly. I forgot which day, but it's going to happen monthly. Policies, investment purchasing and spend limit policies. We talked about the BSNA credit card module, looking at staffing, particularly utility billing, accounts payable going forward, and then the audit year-end activities, what was going on with bank reconciliations, field work, audit prep assistance, and the GFOA award submittal, and where we are on the water rate analysis. So it was a rich meeting full of lots of good topics, and we'll be back to the board on some of this stuff soon.
If I might draw our attention to the fact that this community has never even tried to get a GFOA award for the audit, I think that this is really terrific progress, really terrific progress. Trustee Jamerson.
Could you enlighten me on what the acronym stands for?
Oh, Government Finance Officers Association.
Thank you.
Did you want to? Okay. Thank you. Are there any questions for our trustee, please? Oh, there was one. Sorry, I answered it. Okay, moving forward. Legal and legislation, Trustee Eastman isn't with us this evening. Building and infrastructure, Trustee Jamerson, please.
The building reports in the packet. It's the beginning of the year. We are ahead of where we were last year. Actually, we're ahead of where we were the last 3 years, year to date, mainly because we had one large residential remodel project that hit the building department, which continues to be busy as usual. And they're doing a fantastic job. I say it every month, but it's true. And so that's all I have.
Agree. Are there any questions for our trustee?
I could go backwards just for a second because Trustee Eastman is not here, but he probably would want you to know that he contacted the Illinois Municipal League about the fact that the Saunders Road project has been put on hold. And he was told by the director, who's the liaison for IML, that that hadn't been brought to their attention.
Oh, really?
Red Cole, yeah.
Red Cole. And so he is going to reach out and try and figure out, apparently we're the first municipality that contacted them, so.
That's amazing.
Thank you, Vic. Thank you. Yeah. Land Use Committee, Trustee Raff, please.
Did have a preliminary meeting with Tesca in regards to the Port Wine project. And now the entire board has had an opportunity to review that at the committee of the whole. And we'll see how that proceeds.
Are there any questions for our trustee? Okay, seeing none, moving on. Sustainability and Community Services, Trustee Smith, please.
Sure. So the Sustainability Committee met on Monday with members of the Village Hall staff. It was very fruitful. We trying not to lose momentum or trying to regain the momentum we had, probably is a better way to say that. So we've identified a few key tasks to start with, kind of easy goals, communications, and then frequent bi-weekly updates in terms of progress, in terms of a sustainability coordinator. We talked about several different paths there as well, whether that become a Village Hall employee, a shared resource with another village, or a consultant, or any mix of those three. So we made a fair amount of progress, and we have kind of a timeline to get things kind of restarted and moving forward more quickly. So I think it was a positive first meeting, and we look forward to the progress we make.
Are there any questions for our trustee? Thank you. Communications. Trustee Trevino isn't with us, but she has conveyed some thoughts to our clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. Trustee Trevino wanted to let you all know that so far she's had 4 focus groups that have been conducted to date, with 4 more planned for March. She asked if any residents would like to be a part of these groups to please let her know by March 9th by email or phone, and her email and phone number can be found on the village website. And just on a side thing, like, she's been spending a real lot of time on this and doing a great job, and having been a part of a village survey before, like, the work that she's doing is a lot, and the caliber is really high. It would have cost the village a lot of money. So I'm really excited to see the results of this. And then also Trustee Jamerson had reached out to the communications team about the annual DBR chamber guide. Our information in Riverwoods was not up to date. So Dana Litwin took the lead on that. Thank you, Trustee Jamerson. And lastly, the communications team has expanded the newsletter to include a sustainability corner. And Dana has been doing a really good job working with us all to put some really good content in there.
Are there any questions we can pass along to our trustee? Or any questions for our clerk, for that matter? Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to board comments. One of the things that came up earlier in the meeting was the community garden.
Yeah.
Trustee Jamerson, please.
Thank you. So, we had an invoice to pay for $3,065 for the preparation for the community garden. And I'm all for the community garden. I think it's a great thing to have for Riverwoods. However, there's 12 people that get spots every year. And I don't think this is going to be the only invoice that comes in, because I think there's other things we do throughout the year. I could be wrong about that. I'm going kind of by memory. But I'm wondering, and maybe we shouldn't have them pay for it 100%, because it would be close to, it would be a lot more than they're paying now.
300, right? 3,600 divided by 12.
Yeah, give or take, a little
Yeah,
less than $300. But I'm wondering if maybe they shouldn't be paying a little bit more. I don't want to sound like a Scrooge, and maybe I am, but
Yes, it's an interesting question.
I hate to set precedents where we're paying for things. Anyways, that's just my thought. I'm willing to let it go by, but it struck me as I was going through the bills.
We had, how many, there are about 20 some odd people who have put their name in the hat for drawing spots this year. It keeps increasing, but there are 12 spots. And, the question becomes, I can clearly see, do we spend $3,000 on 12 people? 12 gardens, I shouldn't say, but.
Well, and we also talked about at one point in time expanding it to another 12 plots. And the first time around, it was about $30,000, which we did not pay for all. The village didn't pay for all that.
No.
I think the RPC maybe,
And
or the
plant
RRA,
ladies.
the plant ladies, somebody donated a lot of money.
Right.
But, I
We've
hate to
explored,
set precedents.
a couple of years ago, I think we explored trying to find other spots. And it's very difficult to do because we have a lot of protected areas and wetlands where things are open. At one point, we were talking about trying to find a spot on the village campus, but running water to the garden, because if you don't know, the plots are irrigated, automatic sprinkler system, so forth.
Just
Yes, yeah,
I'll
village
point out that Director Witt is in the process of updating the fee schedule, and I'm not sure, but I think this should be as just an item on the fee schedule. And so the next time it comes to the board, we can put a blank and let the board decide what the fee ought to be. It's like all the other fees, it's.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Trustee Smith, please.
Yeah, I was just going to add, we talked to Discover, I think it was about this time last year, or maybe it was over the summer, about using some of their land that they weren't using kind of at the former King's Kennel area. What we found out was that the water had been turned off there, and like the pump had been removed, so it'd be really expensive to do. So they weren't interested, and if we weren't either. The other thing we did talk about was potentially using some of the federal life land. Now this is years down the road because, federal life is what it is at the moment.
Yeah.
But we also talked about potentially using that. I did go and review the police station property to see if there was room to add more, or either that or put it where the fire station is, or over there somewhere. We're having trouble, Trustee Jamerson, as you can imagine, having trouble finding a suitable spot that was kind of ready to go. So I think we were my recollection of it was we were sort of waiting to see what happened with the federal life, especially with that corner of the property that would become Village of Riverwoods property, and then maybe using that at some point. So I think at the moment it's kind of It's the 12, but at the moment it's the 12.
Yeah,
To be determined.
it's very difficult when you're talking about irrigation systems, putting in
Right.
irrigation systems. I'm sorry, trustee Clayton, please.
I think I'm on a little different side than you are on this, Rick. I think the community garden is a community amenity. We run a lot of programs here that a certain portion of the population takes advantage of. We run a Halloween party. We don't charge admission, and we don't look at the per capita cost of running those events. I think this is a situation where it's an extremely popular program that the village is supporting in order to continue a program that everybody likes. And I'm not sure I understand why we're setting any kind of a precedent. Every time we do an event that the residents don't pay for, we don't charge people for doing that. And I'm not sure, I understand this is more of an extreme case because there's only 12 people involved and perhaps there needs to be some adjustment in the fee. I agree with that. But to fully recover the cost, I think or even go a long way towards recovering the cost, I think is not consistent with what we're trying to do in terms of building and maintaining amenities within the village. Just my opinion.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak on this? Oh, trustee Raff, sorry.
Yeah, I do agree with trustee Clayton on this, that there's no need to recover the entire cost of something like this. It is an amenity that we provide. I think it's unfortunate that it's such a limited number of residents who can participate in it. And some evaluation of the fees certainly should be part of our regular process anyway. But yeah, I agree with trustee Clayton. There's no need to recover the entire cost.
Thank you. We can take this up when we take up the fee schedule, or we can find another avenue to discuss how we might expand or maybe revise what the point of the garden is, or maybe divide up the plots a little bit so that there are more people who can participate in the same space.
Can I
I
comment
don't
on
know how
that
you do
piece of
that.
it? The plots are pretty small as it is, and if
They're
you divide them
closet
into even half of what they are now, I mean, there's hardly any room to grow anything. So I wouldn't be a fan of making the plots
Just-
smaller.
Throwing it out there, just throwing it out there.
Well, and I was just throwing it out there, and I understand the rest of the board's
Is throwing it
thoughts,
out
and
there
that's all
too. And we will discuss it again, I'm sure. Anybody else on that topic?
I do want to just say one thing. I know it's,
Do you want to talk on that?
I'm curious about the northwest corner of the Federal Life site. And the reason I'm bringing it to your attention is because as we get to the 95% part of design, we've been discovering, Lake County's been discovering some little refinements, glitches. And one of them is a desire to provide a little more storage than they originally talked about. There have been a number of very technical discussions, which I won't get into, the high water level, the tailwater level, 10-year, 100-year. When the engineers go into this stuff, it goes on forever. But the end result for us is that the detention on the north end of the site, what we're going to construct, has been growing a little. It's been lengthening. So the usable area in that corner might actually work for a garden better than for a structure, because by the time that detention is put in place, we may not have as much usable space. This was always a moving target a little bit until we have the final engineering. So I'm just thought I would mention to you that if that's a use that you contemplated or ever discussed, we can kind of keep that in mind as we look at these alternatives that they're presenting.
Are there any other questions on that topic? Are there any other topics that the trustees would like to bring up at this point? Okay, seeing none, no reason to go into executive session. So the next Time and date for our board meeting is Wednesday, March 18th. Please note, it is not Tuesday. This is an election site, and so we have moved our meeting to Wednesday, March 18th. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.